Jeff Waters from the Canadian thrash and heavy metal band Annihilator, and you are watching, listening, whatever, to Bucketlist.
Welcome to the dark side, the human race, crumbling before us, ending in disgrace. Politicians, corporations, slap on the wrist, spewing toxic chemicals, now Mother Earth is pissed.
Alright, so my name is Sid from Bucketlist, and I'm here with Jeff Waters from Annihilator. How's it going, man?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Excited for the show tonight?
Yep, winding up the Canadian tour. It's been, 3 weeks of a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you took a Montreal band out with you, Mutank.
Yeah.
How's that been?
The former Vakken Battle winners, I don't know what it was, 2014 or something? Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And some Aussies, band we toured with in Europe last year, called Mason.
Mason, yeah.
And we just thought, hey, let's just do it. Let's go have fun, see what happens, see how it goes, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Started in Victoria and worked our way across.
So tonight is the last night.
We have two in a small place that my friend owns. He wanted us to end it in Cornwall and have barbecues and party time, and so we thought a great way to close it. But I guess tonight you could say it's the real provincial kings of Canada, the Quebecers, to get the last show.
You heard it here first, folks. Kings of Canada.
Yeah.
So you guys have been doing this for a while, and you guys are kind of like the Canadian Metallica at this point.
No, they're known. They're famous. We're unknown.
Some people
We're the
know who you
unknown
are.
Canadian Metallica. Yeah.
I think you're the biggest selling Canadian thrash metal band. I think that's safe to
Outside the
say.
country, yeah, I guess you could say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think we sell about 90% of our records overseas in Europe. So,
No Canadians buy music.
well, we were doing okay from '89 to '93, and then the music scene for metal changed. The traditional heavy metal, thrash metal was kind of thrown off labels, and this new metal or the newer style like Pantera, Sepultura, Biohazard
Right.
became the sort of thing that labels wanted to sign and promoters wanted to tour with. So we were out of luck. We didn't want to change our name and change our music. So I thought my career was finished, and we got lucky with Japan and Europe. They just went bigger and bigger. So lucky, very
Yeah.
lucky Canadian. Yeah.
So fast forward to today. How do you feel about the state of thrash metal in general in the world?
Yeah, it's been climbing for the last 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
The industry is not supporting it like it did in the 80s, but that's just the way it goes, and bands are having a much different time getting a deal and surviving and doing what we do.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. The old schoolers had it a lot easier, whether they knew it at the time or not. But we were lucky that we have enough albums out in sales overseas where we were able to keep going in the hard times based on previous sales and previous accomplishments.
Right.
And then we had a chance to regroup and write records and then build a new following. So a lot of our fans are young. So
Okay.
it's awesome.
Do you have any favorite current newer metal bands that you like to listen to or that you?
There's lots, but I'm mostly an old schooler.
Okay.
I just listen to my friends' bands that I tour with, and so Testament or Anti. I don't have a lot of time listening to music.
Okay.
Because I'm lucky that I have a full-time job playing with Annihilator. And also I try not to, when I'm about to write a record, which means once every second year, every 2 years, I just block out, I'm starting to block out listening to anything. I wanted to buy the new Metallica, the New Testament, the new Overkill albums, but I said until I'm finished my next record, I'm just going to wait until I'm done. Now I'm going to go buy them when I get home in a few days.
I'm actually jealous because those are great albums. I'd love to
Yeah.
be sitting there just
I just want to hear it for the first time. I hear it XM when I'm driving my car. I'll hear Overkill song or hear Testament's sort of main first single they had off the record. And then I just shut it off and said, okay, I can't hear that anymore because my next Annihilator record's going to sound like that.
So, you've been fairly consistent in releasing music, and obviously you're kind of the mastermind behind the whole thing that is Annihilator. If you had to pick a favorite album in your back catalog, what would it be and why?
Just one?
Just one. You could pick a top
Well,
three.
it's like you have the ones that you wish were better, or this and that. There's so many things, and you wish you hadn't have written these songs, or this could have been better. There's lots of that.
Right.
I think the one that was the sleeper was 2005. The president of the record company we were on, AFM Records in Germany, he died in a car crash, and he had a family, kids, and our record Schizo Deluxe came out after that. And from a personal standpoint, it was a very sad time for everybody at the label family and everybody in the metal business over there.
Yeah.
For us, from the business side of it, it was probably one of our best albums, and it literally just went under. Just didn't get viewed, didn't get seen, promoted, you know, and it was understandable because the label was not thinking about an Annihilator record, they were thinking about their president of the company passing away. So that was an unfortunate set of events that one of our best records came out right after that. But I think that's the sleeper one out of the whole catalog.
Okay, very cool. And speaking, you've been working on a new record for a while now.
Done.
It's done?
Yeah.
No title yet?
Actually, we had the first people listening to it last night on our tour bus in Quebec City. We brought some fans on to say, what do you think of this? And we didn't say who it was. We just said, what do you think of this band? And within the first couple of notes, one guy, Richard, just looks at me and goes, Annihilator, old school. And I was like, okay, you know who the band is now.
Very cool.
So, yeah, I think I'd say by accident, not accident, but we weren't trying to write songs like the first 3 albums. It just seems like that's where it came from.
Right.
That was intentional in the sense that not directly trying to copy songs, because that always fails. It was more like, how did I write then? What was I thinking? What were we writing about? Why was that kind of neat?
Okay.
What was so cool about that?
So it was more of like an old school mindset versus how you went into the last record.
And you can never get it as good as something you've done years ago like that. It's
Right.
the magic of the time and your age and surroundings and the musicians. But I think we came up with something very different than the last 10 records.
Okay, cool. Good. So this next tour you have coming up, you're going on tour with Morbid Angel and with
Death Angel.
With Death Angel,
Yeah.
sorry, and
Testament, yeah.
Testament. Very cool.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite bands to tour with?
Testament's one. We've toured with them before, and they also brought us to North America for the first time in 1989. They were doing Practice What You Preach, and we had Alice in Hell just come out. So that was a big thing for us to start out of the gate with tour bus crew, you know, and big album. You know, like it was the biggest independent metal album of '89 in the world. So
Very
that
cool.
was Alice in Hell was a big one. So to be touring with people that we loved, like Testament, and have them teach us how this works on the road very quickly.
Yeah.
How the whole thing works was a huge thing for me to be able to learn from these guys. And they were all nice guys too, so that was the bonus. But we made up with them for shows over the last 25 years in Europe and played shows together.
Very cool. So on the topic of, I know you've said that your last album was very hooky.
Yeah.
And that's something that you've kind of tried to get away from. Do you think hooks have their place in metal?
I thought it was the hooks, and now I'm realizing it's more of the fanboy kind of thing in me. I'm obviously a huge metal fan.
Right.
And for music, I have influences all over the place with so many bands and guitar players. For singers, of course, my favorite singers, of course, would be Halford, number one. Then you got Daly Roth, Dickinson. Yes, I said Daly Roth. One of the best blues singers and entertainers
He's
ever.
amazing, yeah.
Dickinson, of course, Dio, and there's some other amazing singers.
Chuck Billy.
Him. Stu Block now is one of the best singers, underrated singers right now, but hopefully the new Iced Earth will show the world how good he is. But I have lots of favorite singers, but Hetfield and Mustaine are more the type that I would sing in the shower or in the car.
Right.
You know, that I could almost sing like, but not. So I think the last album got the best of me, where I just would go, that sounds cool, so kind of Mustaine-y kind of vocals. And this time, if I ever said, that sounds a little too Hetfieldy or a little Hetfieldy, I would say, delete, do it again. Do it like you would do it, not like these guys would do it. So that's where I think the new album's going to show something different, where it's going to be a lot more original style, I think.
So do you wait for other people to tell you, like, oh, that part sounded kind of Hetfieldy, or oh, that part sounded kind of like Rust in Peace,
I
or
know
whatever?
it. I totally know it, yeah. If I just give it a week and then go back and listen to something, I know exactly where I got it from.
Okay, cool. I have 2 more questions. One, it's on the subject of Canadian music.
Yep.
I am going to see a band that is the opposite of what you guys do. I'm going to review Nickelback tonight.
Oh, yeah. They're playing tonight.
They were playing tonight, yeah. What do you think of them?
I think when Daniel Adair joined the band, that was one of their best albums they ever did. And they had the song Animals.
Right.
Production's always amazing. He's Chuck Berry? No. Chad Kroger?
Chad Kroger.
Take away anything you've read or heard or interviews or seen or anything about that band. And like, he's one of the best songwriters in the world. If you don't like Nickelback, that's your problem. If you like them, that's great. But he's clearly one of the best songwriters out there. He's also one of the few guys like Blackie Lawless and Chad Kroeger, I put them in the same sentence, who are able to sing with complete distorted, heavy, distorted voice, not a clean voice, but hold notes. And it's so difficult. A lot of singers will either sing nice and clean or they'll sing really heavy. Those two guys are about the best genius voices at having really raunchy voices but notes. And it's amazing that that's in a pop rock band like Nickelback. And you also know, like I know the guys well, and Mike, the bass player, is a massive Megadeth, Annihilator, heavy thrash fan.
It comes through sometimes.
They're all, they want to be, you can tell that they want to, because they always have one or two really heavy riffs or songs on their records, and then they go right back to the usual typical Saving Me ballads or the sort of the radio stuff.
Right.
But since I know them, and since I, know a lot about them, it's kind of interesting to see a band, number one, get slammed that much when they're very talented. Number two, to see all the radio hits and the genius songwriting in that world, that type of writing, but then see them sneak in a real heavy Metallica influence riff in here and there, and also to basically have a Metallica-style live show. I mean, they've been Metallica fans from day one, and as soon as they hit and were able to buy pyro and big stages, he was right there going, I want Metallica show, I want to do it. So I mean, that you got to give them that too.
Yeah, there's not a lot of bands who are positioned to be able to get away with being in both worlds like that.
Yeah.
So that's
and
cool.
they spawned a hell of a lot of bands.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that might cut them down don't realize they're listening to about 5 bands that are directly coming from what Chad inspired. Those guys inspired them.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So last question. We ask this to every band. It's the name of our website, bucketlistmusicreviews.com.
Yep.
What is on your bucket list? What would you like to accomplish before you
band
hit the
music
bucket?
stuff or just general?
In general.
Quit smoking. I keep starting and stopping smoking. Stop for 3 years, start again for a year. That's not anything anybody needs to know, but that's my personal thing.
When you're on the road, do you think that you'd be able to get by? Because it's a really stressful environment.
I've done
right?
it many times. That's the problem. I've done it not just for a week. I've done it for years and years and years. And I quit for 11 years. But the last little while, it's been like 3 years on, 1 year off. Now I'm back on again. So it's a pain in the butt. It's just really there. It's all in your head.
Okay, so everyone send him social media to quit smoking, so he has the help he needs.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'll be fine.
Sounds good, man.
I hope. No, I think music-wise, the only goals I ever have with my stuff are just to survive another cycle and hopefully press fans, labels like the records. And if they start really, really sucking, then I'm out of here. And if it's a case of, oh, that was an okay or a good record, I gotta pull out one out of the hat sometime, keep me going, and I'm gonna pull a good one out.
It's the law of
I think we
averages,
got
right?
it this time. Yeah.
I mean, most of your records are pretty good. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, some are better than others, and you do have stuff you wish you didn't do, but at the time you write stuff, you think it's great, and then later you look back and go, damn. Otherwise, you would have more than one Back in Black, more than one Power Slave and Number of the Beast or Killers. You'd have more than one Scream for Vengeance,
and they wouldn't be
Painkiller.
special.
Yeah, bands just do this. It's just when you get the lazy ones who have some really good albums, and then they just love the money and they just do it for that, right?
Yeah.
That kind of sucks, but whatever. Jeff Waters from the Canadian metal band Annihilator here in Montreal with Bucketlist.com metal reviews.
Bucketlist Music Reviews.
Son of a bitch, I missed it.
Well, fuck.